Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to this fifth video for the Zoom for Bodhisattvas by Worldview Productions. Today we're going to talk about the difference between Zoom meetings and Zoom webinar, which is a pretty important topic because there are some very cool differences between these two kind of online events. For starters, let me tell you that in Zoom meetings is more limited in the number of people that allows to enter the room. Um, but also, Zoom meetings is like the name itself, it says so, right? It's like meeting people, being able to have a conversation. Generally speaking, in the events that we have, uh, teachers prefer the meetings way rather than the webinar way. The webinar is a more, it's kind of like massive event, and the main limitation is that you are not able to see the audience unless you promote them as panelists. Okay, so for example, the content sharing in the meetings, we have here this pretty cool image from uvic.ca. Always give rights to the people. So they have this list of content sharing, audio, video best used for, and the comparison between meetings and webinar. And I found this image pretty straightforward and true, so let's use it. So the difference between meetings and webinar is that to share the people that is allowed to share content in the meetings is everyone basically, and in the webinar only the panelists can share content, can open their cameras. uh, Attendees can open their mics, but it's a pain in the ass to really allow people to do that. The audio, it's basically the same. All participants but and panelists only are able to share audio, same for video. And then well, actually this one is not correct. Here panelists and attendees can also share the audio. This is used better for best used for face meetings, document sharing, interactive meetings, or small events. Small events goes, I think the maximum number of people in a meeting is 1,000 people, maybe less, maybe 500, 300. I don't remember. That the problem with Zoom, guys, and you better get used to this. Zoom changes the rules every now and then. So whatever applies today may not be applying tomorrow. It's cool because it has a full interaction between participants, and there's a lot of collaboration. Geshe Michael particularly loves meetings to see people's faces, ask them questions, etc. Then in webinar, this is very useful to, for example, a sales webinar or a massive class. Um, and the idea is that attendees join and listen and view the class without the need of them showing their faces or sharing their screen or whatever of these options, right? Now let's check on the tab of the participants tab on Zoom differences. This one I got it from the Zoom page itself. You can see here that we have in the participants the difference between this one. This one is the webinar view, and this is, oh shoot, this is the meetings view. I want you to see how there's no division here. Like here we have panelists and attendees. Those are two kinds of participants that you have. Again, panelists are kind of like, imagine a stage. In the stage, physical stage, in the physical stage, you have all the people that is going to share something during the class. And in the chairs below the stage, you will have all the attendees, the people that goes there to learn, for example. So that's the difference between panelists and attendees. So once you have made someone a panelist, you have the option to make them host, co-host, or change them back, switch them back to attendee in case you switch them as panelists by mistake. Yeah, they can rename themselves, you can rename them, or you can put them on hold or remove them, right? Now, whoa, where did the other image go? Here. In the attendees view, let me open it here. Cool. What? No, this isn't it. Sorry, guys. Where is it? Ah, here. No, this isn't either. This is it. All right, let me open it here for you guys so you can see better. There we go. So in the attendees part, you can chat with them privately, promote them to panelists, and here it doesn't show, but there it is, the blue button. Sorry, it was my mistake. This blue button that says allow to talk, when you click it, the attendee will be displayed a message that says the host or the panelist wants you to speak, and then the little icon of the microphone will be enabled in their window. Let me see it properly. Sorry, I tend to get too relaxed. To see the little microphone, and then they will be allowed to speak. That's why I mentioned before that the first image that we were checking was incorrect, because attendees can actually talk if you allow them to, but you have to allow them one by one. So that's kind of like painful. So you want to have as attendees the right people, so you don't have to struggle, right? Now, that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward, the differences. You can check this link if you want. It's supportzoom.com. And if you go managing attendees and panelists in webinar, you will see much more details that you may not need, to be honest. But if you want to go deeper, you can check this out, and it has a little more details, but I don't think you will need it. Okay, cool. So now that we have this thing open, let's go to Zoom. I want to show you something. Since we did this in only 7 minutes, this is the Zoom page, and once you enter with your account, you will be displayed this screen right here. And here you will have a series of different options and tabs to create meetings or to create webinars. A pretty cool function that Zoom has is that if you have the proper licensing in the account, you can, for example, change a meeting and switch it to webinar. If you scroll down, let's say that you created a meeting and you said, and then they tell you, oh, you know what, there will be coming more people, so probably you will need to switch that to webinar. Then you don't have to do it all over again. You just scroll all the way down and click on this, convert this meeting to webinar, and that will happen automatically. And you can see here how it changed the location to webinars. And then if they come to you, which has not happened to me, and tell you, you know what, let's go back to the meetings, then okay, no problem. You come here and you convert this into a webinar meeting with just 2 clicks, which is beautiful, because before this function existed, you had to do it manually all over, and it was really, really painful and stressful. That's why I tell you guys, being part of the Worldview Productions team is helping you plant a lot of seeds and to put into practice the perfection of patience. Okay, cool. So anyway, I'm gonna show you how to set up a meeting just for the fun of it. Once you're in this page, you will see here this button that says schedule a meeting, which, by the way, you will also find it in our home page here. Okay. Um, Cool. You know what? Yeah, you can schedule here, but I prefer doing it here because you have more options of customization for your meeting. But before that, I wanted to show you something here. In this tab, meetings, you will see here that we have upcoming, meaning that the meetings and events that you have coming in the future, and you have the one recorded, and you will see all the different all the lists of the different classes that you have recorded, and it will allow you to open in the location that you have that particular class, which is very, very useful, guys, because sometimes you forget where it was stored, or I don't know, something happens with the files. And if you go here, you can easily find where that recording, that lost recording is. Okay, now moving on to scheduling a meeting. We click there and we put a name on it, test meeting. Now, we can add a description or we cannot. I generally don't do. But if, for example, it's a public event or something that people will be reading or looking at, they need to register. It's always a good option to put any description that help people to understand what are they signing or signing to or whatever. Then here you can select the date and the time of that will last. And a cool thing for me is that you can select the time that the meeting will last instead of having to put the time at which the meeting will end. You just select, hey, my meeting will last 4 hours with 15 minutes. And then you can, very important, you can select the time zone. This is something that I use a lot. So probably you will use it too. And you can make this a recurring meeting. You can make it daily, every day, every 2 days, every 3 days, etc. You can make it weekly, every week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly. And you can even select which days, if it's weekly, which days of the week you want to make the meeting. And you can select when is the end date, meaning when is going to be the last one. You can select the monthly one. You can select no fixed time, which is something that I use a lot too, because sometimes we have meetings and I really don't know when that round of meetings, because it's a certain topic, will finish. So I just create a no fixed time in order to have the same link, and avoid creating one link and another, and people can just save that particular link and we make their lives much easier. Then in attendees, you can put the names of people that you want to invite. I don't use this that much, to be honest. We have the registration, if it's required or not, etc. If it's required, you have more options displayed around. Oh, here, cool. Like different little options. Anyway, but I wanted to show you something else. You can generate an automatic ID, which is individual. That this is something that you want to make most of the times, or you can use your personal ID, which I don't recommend because, yeah, people in 2 years can join your personal ID. Then you can select templates if you already have a template of meetings that have a certain specific settings. That's something that you may want to use. Security, you can have the waiting room or the passcode. This is something cool because sometimes you have so many people that you don't want to be accepting people from the waiting room, because you want to set up the translators, you want to set up the everything basically in the Zoom call. But if you do want to have control, because sometimes, let's be honest, people send the code to third parties that should not have the code. So it's kind of painful to start to begin checking on the list of participants if there's people there that should not be there and then remove them. So for that, you want to have the waiting room. And you can even have both at the same time enabled, which is kind of like, to me, it makes no sense. Then this one is a really good one, which is require authentication to join, because this one allows you to have a registration of who entered, when they left, etc. The problem with this one is that people in mainland China don't have the possibility to download the Zoom app or create an account. So they wouldn't be able to access the meeting if this one is enabled. So the best two are these. And you have to choose one. Check it out. If I don't select any of this, it says, hey, you have to select this one. This video is a personal preference. This audio the same, but this is the cream that I wanted to show you. You can allow participants, sorry, to join 5, 10, 15 minutes before the time or at any time. Or just do not allow them to join until you really open the call. Okay. Until the event starts, sorry. Then you have the Q&A enable, mute participants upon entry, breakout room pre-assignment, which is very cool because if you already have, they already tell you that, hey, Brian, I want you to create 25 breakout rooms and I want different people to go to different groups, then you can create this CSV file, which is kind of like an Excel sheet. And then you can import that Excel sheet and automatically the system will recognize the names of the accounts of the people, the name of the people, and then boom, 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 automatically the system will put them in the room and you don't have to struggle on it. Or you can create here the breakout rooms yourself, and you will have to add the participants that they have to be registered, by the way, in this option. Request permission to unmute participants. This is something that I like to have active because sometimes people are muted. Yeah, I think that's the problem of the 21st century. The hey teacher, you're muted. Hey, you're muted. Hey, you're muted. So having this option enabled will help, will allow you as host to open the mic for them. You don't have to tell them, we cannot hear you. No, you just go and unmute them and they can just keep talking, right? Then automatically record meeting. This, I don't like to have this enabled, to be honest, because it will start recording as soon as you start the meeting. And that's kind of like you will have sometimes even an hour of trash. And when you want the video to be converted, it will take you forever. So I rather do it manually. Enable focus mode. I don't like this either. Approve log. This is pretty cool. For DCI and SCIM, guys, sometimes we have events for particular regions. So for example, if we enable this one, I can ask which city or country of people we need to block. And that's pretty cool. We can we can block them from those countries or only allow people from those countries. That's pretty cool. And then alternative hosts. Remember that I told you that sometimes I work with 7 computers? Well, I can admit all of them as alternative host. Now, what's the difference between an alternative host and a co-host? Well, for instance, an alternative host will automatically be a co-host in your call. So whenever they join, they will jump into the call with skipping password, skipping waiting room, etc. And they will be automatically set as co-host, as I said before. But let's say that you said it's Brian and it's Francisco working together. Francisco, I didn't confuse you, okay? It's just that one person in my team is called Fernando. So you have Brian and Francisco together as managing the Zoom call. And then Francisco calls Brian. Hey, Brian, I created the Zoom meeting with my account, but I made you alternative host. Could you start it? Because I'm not going to be there in time. And I will be able to start the meeting without having to enter into Francisco's Zoom call. I will be able to do it with my account. That's very useful. Okay. And now, limitations. You can only add people that is part of your company in Zoom and that it has a paid license. So that limitation goes to check on, we have to check with Worldview Productions what are the limitations in that aspect. But I just wanted you to know that this very cool function is out there. And then we have the interpretation channels. You can set them ahead of time. You can ask for the list of people that will join as interpreters. And you can ask, hey, please send me your Zoom email. Which email did you use to register in Zoom, and you use to join the call, and then which languages you will be translating. So for example, I can say, well, uh, Brian, by the way, this is my personal email, guys, if you want to reach me out. This is it. Uh, Brian will translate from English to Spanish, and then we can add as many as we want, by the way. I think 11 is the limit. I don't know if they have changed that. But anyway, you save it, and then Brian will receive an email and the alternative host that say, hey, this person invited you to be an interpreter, or this person invited you to be an alternative host. Okay, that's how you book a meeting. And for a webinar, it's pretty much the same, guys. No, nothing different, to be honest. Just a little bit of enable HD video attendees, enable video HD share video, always send 1080 video, etc. But the rest is basically the same. You can also, let's say, well, registration, for example. If we allow registration, oh, you know what? Let me show you here in meetings. If we click on the meeting, let's convert this into a webinar. Here, cool. If you scroll all the way down in a webinar, once you have created it, you will see this list of options that you can create. All right. This one, for example, you can set panelists from the beginning right here. Okay, so you click here on edit and you can start writing the name and the Zoom email, very important, the Zoom email of that person to join automatically as panelist. That way you don't have to go to attendees, try to find them and then put them as panelists. That's chaotic when you have too many people to add. And then we have the waiting room. You can put a cool branding image for your waiting room. And the branding also, you can add a wallpaper, a virtual background, name tag, and a logo, etc. Different options here to make your event look more branded. And then we have here the polls and quizzes. You can create them here, or you can create them once you have started the Zoom call, and you have basically here the difference between the Q&A and this is that you are the one asking the questions to the audience. Like, for example, what do you think of this class? And then you can put cool, boring, and then you send it and people will start voting. Or maybe you can even make a quick quiz like, hey guys, what's the pen, or whatever? What does the pen represent? Emptiness, dependent origination, or whatever. That's some pretty cool functions that you guys can use. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope you found it useful, and see you next time, guys.